Okay, next question. Can dementia be prevented? And if so, what are some key strategies you recommend? So, when it comes to dementia, actually, prevention is key because, like, I'm sure a lot of you have heard by now about dementia, whatever little is there, we are hearing around the awareness that's going around. Dementia is a progressive neurological condition, which means it gets worse with time. And the second thing is that there is no cure so far in the world scientifically proven that you give somebody this and they're going to get cured of dementia. There have been some patchy studies here and there done, maybe one or two case studies where people have recovered, but we really don't know in the large scale does it work or not. So, which leaves us then with trying to prevent it, which is probably the best thing to do, right? When you know that once you're in the soup, you can't do anything about it, the best thing would be to try to not get into the soup in the first place. So, what can we do to prevent dementia? A whole bunch of stuff. So, dementia is essentially a condition that affects the brain, right? The brain functioning, the brain health. So, a lot depends on how your brain health has been through life. It's a life course perspective of looking at dementia, essentially. So when we're talking about prevention of dementia, we are talking about making changes to lifestyle right from the age of maybe your 20s or 30s, however early as possible. Healthy changes which would keep your brain healthy, and as well as, of course, the rest of your body healthy. So whatever affects the heart is affecting the brain. A simple formula to remember is this, that whatever is good for the heart is good for the brain. And so, what are the things? For instance, let us start with the most important thing, which is your diet, right? What kind of food are you eating? So, what is recommended for keeping brain health good? There are certain kinds of diets which scientists and neurologists across the world have founded. There's a fantastic diet called the Mind diet, which, as the word symbolizes, is supposed to be good for the brain. It's a Mediterranean-based diet, and there are other kinds of diets like this, the DASH diet. So essentially, to put it very simply, these are diets which involve a whole bunch of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and you're using organic produce as much as possible. You're using farm grown produce as much as possible, as little additives in food. So we're looking at basically, if you looked at diet the way it was about, say, 100 years ago in India or any part of the world, where things were clean, they were not hormonally stuffed, they were not restricted, like poultry and animals were not restricted to very small spaces or injected with hormones to give us more produce. We're looking at a diet that basically comprises of all that, and a balanced diet where there are lesser carbs in general, lesser carbohydrates, and we're looking at more of fruits, more of vegetables, more of fiber, a lot of probiotics, so a lot of more kind of things that will help your gut to heal better. So these are the things which diet involves. What is the second most important thing? Exercise. So exercise for your body, for your brain, whatever is exercise for your body is also going to be good for the brain, as long as we don't overdo it, of course. Now, there are a lot of cases of people who are over gymming, in a way, if that could be a term, and they're actually having a lot of heart related issues. That cannot be good at any point in time. So to be able to do it in moderation, but at the same time get a healthy amount of exercise for your bodies, which will help with blood circulation, help with hormone regulation, and in turn help with brain health, right? So that's about exercise. Sleep is another very, very important factor to try to prevent any kind of cognitive decline. Getting good quality sleep and getting about 7 to 8 hours. Now, the two are very, very, very different. It's possible that you're sleeping 9 hours a night or 9 hours through the day, but the quality of your sleep is not good, which means the brain is actually not getting enough oxygen that it should be getting. It's not getting enough rest that it should be getting. And a very common reason for this is sleep apnea, which is occurring more and more commonly thanks to our, stressful lifestyles that we have all now fallen under. So the quality of our sleep has really reduced over time, and so it's very important to try to get a good quality sleep. So if you feel that you're having sleep issues, it would be important to go get it checked up by a specialist, get any diagnosis done, and the further treatments that are necessary, right? And then of course, keeping the brain stimulated through life. So we are told as children that you by what are your hobbies is the first question we used to ask each other as children. Then once you've crossed the age of 20, 25, 30, nobody is talking about hobbies anymore. People are busy running their lives, running to work, taking care of children, taking care of the household. But the importance of hobbies, I cannot tell you, is really multifold. So hobbies like reading, listening to music, gardening, any kind of artwork, sketching, drawing, coloring, painting, craft work, or it could be learning a new musical instrument, learning a new language. You name it, all of these, playing different kinds of games like caroms, chess. All of these are extremely beneficial for brain health because they're helping in keeping your brain stimulated. And the more different kinds of things you do, the better, because you're using different kinds of neural networks to do those things. So the brain is getting stimulated in different ways. So this is another important part of our lifestyles, which we often ignore as adults. And it's important to bring it back into our lives. Apart from this, the regular things which we are told to cut out smoking, totally stop smoking, to cut down on alcohol as far as possible, to get regular health related checkups done to ensure that you're not overlooking any kind of a thing, any kind of issues like thyroid issues or deficiency of vitamins, which could also cause dementia like symptoms. Like vitamin B12, vitamin D, all of these cause dementia like symptoms. So, making sure that all of these are in place and that you're more or less healthy through lifetime, you're not falling sick too often. These are ways to keep the brain healthy and to make sure that at a later stage in life, you as far as possible, there's no guarantee, but as far as possible, we are trying to prevent this condition.